Oh, there we are.
Oh, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to the gargoyles and the gargoyles and whoever you are
Gargoyles.
out there in the paranormal field. This is Anne and Renata.
Hi.
I'm Cousin Steve, also known as C1. I can't turn that quickly, I've got a bit of a shoulder. Welcome to the Paranormal Hot Seat. This is like the third week. We've been doing this a lot lately.
We
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
There's lots
Can't
to talk
get
about.
enough of each other.
Yeah, well, we thought it was a good idea to come on and do a live today because there is a little bit of drama going on. Surprise! In the paranormal field. By the way, you can make up whatever word it is with the paranormal hot ST there with my head in the road.
Do you want to actually show them what it is before they...
Seat.
It is seat. It is seat.
So hopefully you can all hear us okay. I've got the microphones off at a distance. Hi, Larice. Hi, Robert. Hi, Zena. Thank you for being on and chatting for so long. Look at you guys. Wow. Hi, Renee.
Do you even need us at all? You can start your own topics.
I know, right?
I'm waiting for the songs to start. I love it when they
It's
used
just
to
like
do
a
the
chat.
songs.
Remember chat rooms? It's good times.
No.
No. That's
So,
just me.
just checking, can you hear and see us? Just let us know to start with, and that way we can kick off. Because sometimes we have sat here and chatted for quite some time and nobody could actually hear us or see
We
us.
like to talk to ourselves.
So for those who are watching the first time, my name is Anne Rakovich. I'm a paranormal investigator, paranormal researcher, part of the True Hauntings podcast crew, owner of Oz Paratech, selling paranormal equipment, and business buddy is to my left. You're right.
Yes, hi, my name is Renata Daniel. I have been running Newcastle Ghost Tours, which is a tour group for people who would like to come and experience haunted places and do some paranormal investigations. I've been doing that for 13 years now, coming into my 14th year. I'm also a paranormal investigator. I do go overseas, except for this time, with Anne.
Rub it in, put lemon juice and salt on it.
And we take a small bespoke groups with us
I forgot about that
to
part.
interesting places like Ireland and Norfolk Island, which we are going to this year. I am a whole lot of other things as well, but you know.
She is a whole lot of other
There are a
things.
whole
trust
lot
me.
of other things.
And
I'm Cousin Steve. I just work here.
not related at all. We just call him Cousin Steve because he feels like he's part of the family. We get little nicknames for people like Big Bad Barb. You may have seen her in our latest YouTube offering at Glendalough Cemetery. And sometimes Lurking Lisa will also pop up.
You never know who's going to pop up in your videos.
No.
No.
And now I'm sort of thinking, do I have to give names to everyone? No, just the team members. The
You
team
started
members.
the trend.
No,
Right.
team members are going to get the nicknames. It's the easiest way to do it. All right. So, Steve, how did we come about to all this kerfuffle?
Okay, so for those of us, and I'm sure everyone that is watching and in Australia knows that we've had a bit of drama in the paranormal field this week with Monte Cristo, reportedly Australia's most haunted house.
Allegedly.
Closing to the public after what?
Oh,
Decades.
Decades
a
of
lifetime.
it making it their bread and butter from ghost tours and paranormal events and all of that kind of stuff. And it's led to a very big conversation on the Oz Paratech page about
And some skim reading on some people's behalf.
about the rights to locations and stuff like that. We thought it was a very good time to step in and not only give our opinions, but listen to your opinions about what it is, what you feel like, you know, the entitlements of ghost hunters and stuff is all about. Because I think I was saying to Renata before we start, there seems to be an entitlement factor to certain groups, certain individuals that go, oh, this is haunted. I'm allowed in because I'm interested in it. So I should be
I'm
allowed.
a specialist in this field.
At the end of the day, everything is property owned by someone, whether it be a private individual, a family, state, government, etc., etc. Nobody really has the rights to anything. So the reaction to this place now closing has been very mixed and very interesting. I never got the chance to actually get there, despite having the option, but it just never happened. You two have both been there multiple times, so I'll probably throw it to you guys first because you've experienced the place, and I'm sure you have your own opinions.
Well, number one, it's a huge thing for someone to open their home
and it's their home.
And have people from the public come in continuously into their home and investigate and be allowed to wander through, never knowing whether they're going to take something, whether they're going to disturb something, whether someone's going to come up in the middle of the night and try and get in when they're not supposed to. So I thank the family for allowing all of us over the years to have been part of the journey that was Monte Cristo. And for most people in Australia, it kind of was a bit of a rite of passage where everyone would say, have you been to Monte Cristo?
Yes,
So,
it was
Like
one
the
of my,
Holy Land.
It was one of my very first, if not the very first, one of the investigations of a location with just a small group of people.
Yeah.
When they were still allowing it.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Australia has so few sites that will allow you to do that in the first place. That in the end, when you looked at the pricing and everything, and of course prices went up over the years, of course they did. But when you looked at the opportunity of being able to stay overnight, investigate, and do what paranormal investigators do, which is give us a site because we want to be there and we want to see things by ourselves, then it was one of those amazing places that allowed you to do that. And of course, Reg, who, bless his soul, while he was still alive, he was the person that actually sort of instigated all of this and made it happen.
Personality as well.
Yeah, he was a storyteller. He loved sharing the history of the house that he saved twice. And it was part of him and part of his joy and part of him being able to keep that place going, that people like us were allowed to go there and investigate and pay in the money to do so. And so we should have. None of these sites should be free. That's called trespassing.
And that is a big issue, and that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later as well.
And as someone who provides tours and provides places to investigate, it's important for me to say at this point in time that a lot of people come on my tours and say to me, have you ever been to, or why can't you get into? And when I say to them, I can't because I'm not allowed in there, or it costs too much, or it is privately owned and they will not allow you to do those things. And they look at me like, yeah, but you should. Whether I should or not is a completely different matter. I cannot go into places that are locked up by gates, that have security around them, that have dogs patrolling the area, or that I have not paid for, as much as I would love to go. And taking the public's another different thing, because you've got to look at your insurances in case something has happened. But even for us as a group who would go, okay, well, let's say the three of us want to go and explore, St. Joseph's at Goulburn.
What's left of it, yes.
St. Joseph's Orphanage, because I was asked this last night. And I said I was taken there once by a person who was allowed to do ghost tours there many, many years ago. We're going 8-9 years ago. And I couldn't go into any of the buildings. We were just sort of in the courtyard. That was it. And someone came over and said, why are you here? What are you doing here? So this person had to explain themselves. Yes, would I have loved to go in and do an investigation? Absolutely. Can I? No, I can't. And yet all of these videos come out online of other people who have gone through and are showing all of this stuff. And you go, yeah, that's really cool stuff to watch. And I would love to be able to post that on my page, but I can't.
A lot of it too, the urban...
So I'm just sharing the link so people can
the
find
urban
us.
explorer angle.
Yes.
It's okay, yeah, you get cool points, but you're adversely affecting everyone else by breaking the law. And you don't know why those laws are in place. Like, for example, look at Morisset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That place has been destroyed
Yeah,
by people going
absolutely.
in there, and it's dangerous to go there too.
Yeah.
There's asbestos, there's all that kind of stuff, but people are breaking the rules because they want to be the ones that go there.
I still have people ask me about Morrissey.
Yeah, they
And
want to
it's-
put up a video to say that they were there, and I totally understand that. I would too.
But it is private land now, and it would show that you are trespassing. So you need to think about that before you put it on social media.
Yeah, because everything that you put out on this beautiful app that we're using at the moment is now out in the universe forever.
Turtle. Is it Turtle? Yes, please ask questions. If it's about this particular topic, absolutely ask questions.
And also, if you're watching, please share.
Yeah, I'm
We'd
just
love
trying
you
to
share.
because we didn't really get the opportunity to share a lot.
The last minute
And this is
decision.
my last one before I am going to be away for a month. So it's important that you all come on to watch, obviously.
That's all right. We'll be doing some things while you're away, Anne, just saying.
We're going to renovate.
Good.
No, I'm joking. But Anne, what about your experience?
My experience at Monte Cristo. Okay. I was lucky enough to be there when you could investigate without a public tour. And it was at the stage they had just banned paranormal investigation teams coming in because there was somebody that had come in and performed some sort of ritual in the stable area with candle flames, incense, to clear the house and the environment of the spirits. And the owners of the location got very, very upset, understandably. Number one, because you cannot light a fire in a freaking stable, idiots. There is still hay and a lot of
And
flammable stuff.
historical stuff in that stable too.
Oh, yes.
The carriages that Reg had renovated were in there, and of course there was the story about the stable boy who was very ill, and the cruel master of the workman lit his bed on fire, and he burnt to death, or he died later on from his burns because he was too ill to get out of bed. So I don't know whether they were trying to recreate something, but they didn't want paranormal investigators coming in because they were doing the wrong thing. So they're very lucky at that stage that we were even allowed to go with tours and things. And I think that's when Reg was still there at that stage. Yeah.
Brings up an important question that I was going to talk to you guys about as well. Just because we, as paranormal investigation groups, go in and you may experience something, an energy, a spirit, whatever you want to call it, that would like to move on, etc., it's not really our choices to do it when we don't own the property. That is something that if you are a responsible person, you would go, this is what we've found.
Mhm.
What would you like us to X, Y, and Z? Because it's happened a couple of times on the things that I've done with you guys, and
people seem to think that it's their right and their obligation to save the spirits there and set them free. Maybe the spirits feel safe there. Maybe they've been told if they cross over, they're going to go to hell. They're going to burn in the damn flames with Satan by their side, and they're too scared to cross over. So it is not our place to wipe the place clean, even if you believe that worked or not. Even when the owners of the house come in and say, remove the spirits, make them be gone, that might not be our place to do it either, because maybe those spirits have a right to be there and you have to learn to live together. Renata, you've had to deal with that, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. That's a lot of words there.
a lot of words.
Because it takes a while, and I know there are people that will go in and will have a whole lot of information given to them by the spirit world within a very short period of time, and they believe that they know what is exactly going on, and they believe that if they cross paths with a spirit and that spirit asks, to go, then they have some form of obligation to do so.
They've got the Ghost Whisperer complex. They've all watched Jennifer Love Hewitt.
All of this is complicated. It's really complicated. And, one of the things that you have to understand is trying to work out who this spirit actually is that you're speaking of and speaking to before you sort of do anything.
Yeah, most of them
again-
are determined. They know it's Beelzebub himself come to steal their soul.
Yeah,
And it's not his grandma.
It's a whole lot of permissions and
Could be
things.
same person.
Absolutely. So yeah,
Can be the
it's complicated.
Yeah, call a rain in from the other side, they'd all run away. It's quite a big assumption that it's even possible to move a spirit on against their will. I have on many occasions on the table and sometimes in the spirit box had a call for help. And particularly with the spirit box, my first thing I go to is, tell me your name. What is your name? And the reason I do that is so I know that I'm having a conversation with an intelligent entity rather than an echo, a residual call from the past, or just a random word that has popped through and it's been interpreted as help and it's not actually a spirit communication.
Right.
So once I get a name, then I feel that I have got a connection and we move forward. And on the table as well. But again, you wonder if it's people who are needing something to be special happening. But I have felt the energy of something crossing over when they've asked for help. You can sort of feel when they've left. It's really interesting.
There's a prime example. I'm not going to say the location because we haven't been there in a hot minute, where we had the spirit box going and the portal going, and there was a conversation going on between those two.
Oh, yeah, I love
those
that.
two people, and the story, like,
Yeah.
they could not hear us. There was noises going on around the room and everything, and it ended up being that, somebody moved on.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, everything stopped.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't been there watching with you, I would be like, okay, whatever. But it's one of those okay moments,
Yeah.
which is why we do what we do, I guess, for those
moments.
unexplainable.
And then they get wiped from my brain and I don't remember them.
Sydney.
Yeah, I know. I do remember.
I do remember. But that was really unique because it wasn't like we were all listening to the same thing. They couldn't hear us and they were answering each other's questions. There's a conversation going on in front of us, as well as manifestations of stuff within the space we were in, which is not regular.
No.
So Turtle has a question.
Do you go into places and have a sense or feel the energy from all the people who have visited or the property?
So
that would probably be a Renata question.
Is it leftover energy from the people, or is it a resident energy from the property?
Yeah.
I think is what the question is.
Good question.
That's a really interesting question. And I would dare say what we pick up most on is the energy from the property or from the souls that are connected to the property, not so much the energy of the people who have visited, because they are there for a moment and they're gone. It's more that deeper connection of people who have lived there or the property itself, if it does have any sort of residual stuff that's going on there. So I hope that has answered the question for you. But it's important to note the people that have gone there,
here.
because some people who have, for example, over the years and visited Monte Cristo, for example, have gone in with a thought in mind and an agenda in mind, and whether that has also changed and created a residual energy of its own on the property, there is a likelihood that it probably has. So are we talking to or connecting with an energy that has originally come from the space, or are we talking to or connecting to an energy that has been created over the years? Because everyone's looking for energy X and they're talking about energy X and they're believing that energy X has certain properties or has a particular way of being. And so they have created this energy there over the years. And we're talking about years. I mean, 30 odd, 40 years with Monte Cristo. That's a long time for people every weekend to be coming and searching for one particular thing. Do we make those things real? Yes, we do. We do.
And it was very much the kind of theme of our end of the American adventure, was going to these big name places and going, okay, we have to differentiate from the hours and hours of footage that people have created saying that is this person here doing this all the time, when that's not necessarily the experience we had.
Yeah.
And the things that people are telling us to look for is not what we found.
Yeah.
It was other stuff that was more compelling.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I've kicked the bucket.
Don't kick the bucket.
Conjuring House is one of them. I mean, how many people have you seen on YouTube where they go into the Conjuring House and they go, oh my God, it is such a den of evil that we could hardly stay the night. It was so horrid. How could you be there?
They felt Satan's tail tickle their butt.
And we
Again,
kind of went there and went, this is a nice place.
It was lovely. I could have lived there. It was such a beautiful home in the country.
Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills, for being in a monstrous space. Like, there's no other way to describe the size of that place.
Massive.
Yeah.
Monstrous. And the TV shows and the documentaries don't do it justice. But standing in there, looking out, and you go, it's quite peaceful here, isn't it? Like, besides all the trains. But
and one of the things that I kind of thought about Waverly was that all of those places that were allegedly supposed to be the most haunted had nothing for us, but other places that were totally unexpected were the places where we felt things happening.
we might have more of a conversation when we get this out to people.
Yeah.
And might do like a post
There is
investigation thing.
a really compelling video coming out very soon on some haunted objects that are not bought off eBay or Etsy or anything. They were historically handed to the caretaker of a museum from that person.
Yeah, you'll hear some famous names being bandied around.
And we got to touch them and hold them.
We're still here.
It was amazing. Anyway, that's all coming up soon. I think there is a video coming up on more of our travels shortly. I can't remember which one it is. My brain's fried. And as Lisa said, who knows? They could be. They can simply come and go, not crossing over into other realms permanently. But this is the question, the comment I like. Moving on, where? Where are we allegedly moving these entities onto? If they're happy where they are, leave them be. I like that. Right, question from Dave. Do you assume Monty may reopen to the tourists, whether through Heritage Trust or other caretakers? Now,
that's a
very loaded question.
$1 million question, isn't it?
I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, this is what many are worried about, is how is this going to affect the town of Junee, as this was a very big draw card for the community.
Possibly the only draw card?
No, there's the licorice factory.
The licorice factory, I know.
And what was the other thing? David mentioned it before, the licorice factory and something else. And what's going to happen to the town once this has gone? Look, it's not up to us to say whether it should stay open, shouldn't stay open. There is a whole lot of family stuff going on at the moment, which Lawrence ran the ghost tours within the house once it was closed off to paranormal investigators, and that was all worked out by the family. That was their business, right? He ran the tours for many years, and the idea was that when Olive passed, that the house would go back to the family and they would choose what they would do with it. There was a deal done, and I know that the deal was done because Lawrence told the whole tour group, and there's been several other people as well, where he relinquished his share. He said he had no choice, where he relinquished his share to be able to keep doing what he was doing. That's fine. That's their business. That has nothing to do with us. There has been no talk of anyone losing money over any bookings or anything like that. Just disappointed people who have had their bookings cancelled. Please remember, this family is in mourning. They have lost their mum. But not only that, there has been issues within the family that they need to sort out, and we need to give them the space to do that. The private messages I received on Oz Paratech in regards to this have been astounding, and the accusations made, and I'm not going to repeat them because I don't know these people. I don't know the truth of their stories. I don't know whether they're troublemakers or people who have been hurt, or whether it is the absolute truth. But I just said in each case that be mindful that this is a family property. The family now needs to decide what is best for them as well, because the house takes a lot of maintenance and it's very old and it's needing maintenance, and they have to find that money from somewhere. So good luck to the family. Just be aware that grief can make your mind a little bit tortured sometimes, and you may interpret things differently through this period of grieving and coming to terms with everything that's happening. Maybe it would be best to keep the family business off Facebook and just simply put out a statement saying that the house has come off the circuit, or whatever you want to call it.
Tours have ceased.
No need to throw mud or accusations or anything like that. Just the family need time, and they're going to sort through this issue. And all the rest of us need to keep our nose out of it.
Right.
At the end of the day, it is whatever they choose.
Larice.
It's what we deal with. You know what I mean?
Have you ever done an investigation at Lizzie Borden's?
Yeah,
Yes.
we did. That's interesting.
Got video footage for that. All will be revealed. Let's just say it was a shock. Wasn't it, Renata?
It was.
Poor cousin Steve
I'm
left us
sad
by
I
then.
missed that one. But, you know, it's okay.
No, it was only because we dug.
You did your due
We
diligence.
dagged.
We didn't just sit there and assume. We just didn't sit there and assume.
Yeah, we dug a little bit further.
We're
And
investigators.
Again, we cannot accuse because we don't know, but we did find something a little bit strange.
In the
and then
neighborhood.
And then we found something strange later on that night. So, yeah, interesting.
Which may have been paranormal, which is awesome.
Yeah. All right, shall we move on?
We should move on.
Well, this is basically that was one day on.
That was one day on.
That was one day on.
Cousin Steve manages my social media.
And I managed to
I'm
get
in there
really
too,
good
and I comment. But Steve puts the topics up.
managed to get two really good days in a
We
row,
did.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I posed the question to people like I do. I usually call it the Thought for Thursday because it comes out on Thursdays here in Australia. Why do we think so many Australians, specifically Australian, historical sites are anti-ghost hunting / paranormal investigation? And we got a lot of responses. And again, a lot of responses privately
Oh.
too.
Oh, yes, we did too.
That
Because they were worried that there'd be repercussions from their statement publicly, which... Oh, Robert, thank you so much. Oh, bless you for digging deep to the other side in other countries. Mwah. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. So yeah, it's interesting that people will have their say, but then run around through the back gate privately to people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's part of the problem because
you shouldn't be afraid
to stand up for your
to
belief.
say what you want to believe, which is what we are doing now. Because the way, just so going back to the last topic, is there was another comment that came up on another paranormal page saying something along the lines of, we never delve into people's personal things, but, you know, they were talking about the Monte Cristo house. And I had to comment, neither do we. The question we asked was...
Actually, we didn't even ask a question.
No, how do you feel about losing a site? That was the question. It wasn't, what do you think of the place closing? It was, how do you feel about losing another paranormal site in Australia? But people have skimmed the comments and dug down and sort of made it into something else.
Because I've learned in my nearly 5 years of doing this podcasting thing and writing articles and putting it forward to the public, that all you can do is give the facts that you have found. Let the people make up their minds.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to sway you either way. I'm presenting you with a fact that came through to me on a TikTok at 12:30 in the morning. And all it said was Monte Cristo's closed to investigations. It's become a family home, and that is exactly what I reported. I even gave the TikTok account's username.
It is still there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, so I gave it to them so people could go and make up their own minds. At no point in that article or in our comments did we say, let's besmirch people's...
Yeah,
we won't do that. We will never...
I don't think you have to.
No,
that's the point.
But there was a lot of people that started virtue signaling that we would never do that because we're perfect. I'm like, well, we didn't either.
But some of those people are also the people that go into locations,
and they're also
illegally.
witches as well.
You know what Uh-oh. Outside voice. Outside voice.
Anyway, I'm going away in
so
5 minutes. I don't care.
Do you want me to read through some of the responses?
Yes.
Okay. So this one came from Scott, who is part of our team.
Yep.
Religious, political, and social conservatisms. Australians appear to consider themselves as open-minded, but they are not, and they fear reprisal/criticism, which, you know.
true.
It's also rejection. They want to feel that they're part of this community, and they don't want to be rejected by the community by saying something that might go against. We don't care. We're too old.
I do have a quite lengthy one, but it's interesting.
Oh, from Sarah. No, this will be well written. It'll be worthwhile listening to.
LLIFS Paranormal blog, Sarah. There are some sites that are not equipped to handle the popularity that can bring and such unwanted trespassers, late night visitors, which we've discussed. Yeah, there are also some, not all groups and creators on YouTube that are completely disrespectful, copying behavior they see on TV, swearing, come at me, bro, etc., and also create their own narratives such as demons. Or suddenly, because someone feels something bad or their app says the word murder, they put information out there was a murder, and all of a sudden you have all of these false narratives spreading without any historical proof.
How many times have we found that in the True Hauntings podcast? Some freaking mediums just, I feel something.
Actually know of for a fact one well-known location that has shut their doors for a long time to the paranormal because of this exact reason. In their case, a tour guide. In their case, on a tour, one of the guides received a psychic impression and said that there were spirits picking up that did horrible things.
How many times does that happen?
Yeah. What they didn't realize is that they were descending family members on the tour.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they were not impressed. Suddenly, no more investigations were allowed.
Yep.
There's also been cases of groups hiring out locations and not telling the owners/event managers why they are hiring it out. They then hold a ticketed event, which is a paranormal investigation, much to the surprise of the venue. It breaks trust. I could go on, but there is just a few. In short, there are some that ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the asylums that happened, and that's why they no longer allowed any sort of paranormal investigation in there. And there was like legit filming and stuff going on. It was a great site, and everybody lost it. And Lisa said, it's frustrating that some teams are spoiling it for others with their behaviour.
Yeah.
And look, in saying that, I now want to, because this was about the locations, for people who have these haunted locations, you are going to be hounded by paranormal investigators wanting to get in there. Your customers are going to want to do more than ghost stories because this is the environment they're in now. They want to do paranormal investigation. And you have the choice of just going, nope, nothing, go away, not doing this, and you're just going to continue to get hounded. Or you can try and allow somebody to run something for you. Now, if you do choose to run something, or they try to run something, you need to be very careful on who you choose to run events at your location, and to make sure that they are in alignment with your beliefs and the owner's beliefs, the manager's beliefs, everyone's beliefs, so that you don't end up with random ghost hunting teams who claim to be there amazing and wonderful, and they go in there and they start making up these stories. So what is it you want to do?
Yeah.
You might be running ghost tours there already, and people are saying, we want more, we want more. But there's one person goes, oh no, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm having nothing to do with that. But your customers want it. Your customers are wanting it. So find someone respectable and bring them on board. Give them a try first.
The
maybe.
upside of this is that everyone has stuff on YouTube now. So you can go shopping.
You can.
You just need to know the name.
Go
of
and
the
have a
group.
look at what they're doing.
Go look at the
Pretty easy.
history. There are 2 points that I want to bring up because it's the flip side of the argument, and it's something that we have talked about. We talked about it last time we were on here as well. Becca Marie said it would bring more profits, fun for the participants, and knowledge about the building. They might be ashamed of the history. They refuse to believe in the paranormal and want to leave the past in the past. Erin kind of expands on that and says history in Australia is under lock and key, so different to the rest of the world. It's a very insular approach to the sites themselves, suffer now and in the future in terms of public interest, loss of income streams and general interest and advocacy by a public to keep a site maintained. A terribly short-sighted approach that needs to change if we want future generations to experience them.
Yep, that is true. And we are finding more and more that we are losing sites monthly, and they are not opening up. Sites are being closed down. Just in our local area, we've lost a couple of sites over the last 12 months that have closed down. That there is no money in the government coffers to be able to support these sites. And these sites are historical sites, predominantly being run by volunteers who have an absolute love for these places and know that if they are left to decay, that is what is going to happen. Maitland Jail is one of those. It is now being closed. It's been closed for 7-8 months now.
Longer.
It's almost a year.
And it's
No, it was April.
yeah, April. Yeah.
No, it's May. It was May.
Nearly
I know
12.
March.
We're in
March.
January.
So, you
Because
know,
we're away. 10 months, yeah.
it is one of those sites where a lot of people are saying, please, can you just do the bare minimum and have it opened again so that we can have stuff going through there. We can have money coming in. We can have people enjoying it that are coming in now. And sites are forgotten. If you don't have a site and advertise it over a period of time, people will forget that it actually exists or existed
Well, they
at
won't
all.
be interested.
And I still have people coming up to me now and going, well, when are you going back to Maitland Jail? And I said, well, don't you know it's been closed
We'd be
for
there in a
like
heartbeat.
8 months?
And it's very interesting that the whole conversation around Maitland Jail is reviving it and making it a centre for tourism. But you're stopping it now.
Yeah, you've closed the whole thing down.
And the thing with the thing we offer is that one of the problems with Maitland Jail is the electrics. And hi, Lindsay, thank you for stopping by. They're mowing the grass. I can't talk anymore.
Thank you for looking after the place.
Thank you. I'm so glad that there is somebody there who's keeping an eye on it. And please say hello to all the ghosties for us.
If they haven't said it, it'd be interesting to see if you've had any run-ins.
Yeah, have you had any ghosties? Anyway, for example, with Maitland Jail, we could go in there and run tours because the problem with some of the place is that the electrics, and we don't use power.
We do it in the
We
dark.
would prefer all power is turned off, actually. But it's just this whole blanket ban, I'm stealing your words, Dave, on everything.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I'm going to, so I get feisty sometimes.
So
I'm better, can you tell?
That's what the paranormal hot soup's about, mate.
Some of these beautiful volunteers that are at these sites have very set ways, and a lot of them are older, and they don't like this ghosty stuff. They think it's disrespectful, and we're not having any of that nonsense here. We can bring money into the location to help run it. So if your personal beliefs are stopping respectful people who love history, respect history, and also respect the paranormal, if you're stopping them coming in because of your own dislike, are you doing a disservice to the site. If that site goes under when there is something there that can bring money in, you're not helping. You need to be open to other people's ideas and belief systems instead of being completely blinkered. And I'm so grateful for the hours and the effort and your expertise you're putting into maintaining the building, but you need money. You need money. So please.
And we have said this before as well. People just kind of need to look at the sites in the UK and the sites in America, how much money they can make.
Oh boy, I got a quote for
the amount of money that you can make from, everyone's got a gift shop. You know what I mean? Everyone can snack a gift shop and merchandise everywhere you went. And it helps the upkeep of those sites.
Oh, look, the prices are skyrocketing everywhere. I asked for a quote from a place in Sydney to run a tour, and a couple of $1,000 for like a very, very small period of time.
And they're probably pricing it like that so you won't do it.
But and they have no structure for a tour like this either. The structure is you are hiring it. You're hiring the venue for an event. Yeah. So you're looking at, and that's why we actually stopped doing a tour that we were doing in Sydney that we started this year, because because their structure was for a hire of 6 hours. So we were paying a hire for 6 hours, but we were only there for 2. And so it became financially impossible to run that tour because it was costing us so much money.
And I was looking at hiring a location for us in Ireland for our haunted holiday that we still have 2 spots left for. And I had sort of led to believe that it was around about €60 per person. There was about 10 of us. And when I got the quote, it was €1,800. So if you think about €600 versus 1,800, it just blew it right out of our budget.
Especially comparing it to Australian dollars at the moment.
But if you look at €600, that's still a lot of money that place could have taken for us to be there for 3 hours. And we don't use power, or you may flush a toilet occasionally, but
you just want the doors open. That's it. You bring everything else with you and you tidy up as you walk out.
And I told our Irish correspondents, and they were gobsmacked. I don't know whether it was because we were from Australia.
But
maybe they looked us up.
There is another good point that a couple of people have brought up. Insurance and liability insurance. Just because you want to go somewhere doesn't mean it's safe for you to go somewhere, because even on the tours that we used to do at Maitland Jail, we always just say, bring a torch, uneven surfaces. There is a duty of care for the people that are guiding your tour and the site itself. Just because you want to go somewhere doesn't mean it is safe for you to go there. And it may not be something you can visually see. You do have to trust the process. It's just because you want to go somewhere, there are things in place for reasons,
Yeah.
Some of these are very old places. Even when we looked at the residence, we were like, oh, okay, cool. And then, they had to fix the roof.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
that's
looking quite low. And it's getting lower and lower.
That's all right. They just ripped it out. It was fine. But what have we got? Lindsay said, I have had doors opening in front of me, loud bangs, feelings of being watched, but no apparition. I can imagine what would be happening as well is that you don't want to look into the dark areas. I know that people and I've done it myself, and a little bit intimidated by the sight. You sort of look straight ahead and go, I'm not going to look until he made me look, but that will come out in one of our YouTube episodes.
Oh, Lindsay, say hello to the guys.
Go
for
into
us, please.
A-Wing for me and tell Philip, thank you so much for following us. We love it. We love it. He comes on the Spirit Box and calls us names everywhere, and we've enjoyed that.
We miss the boys.
Oh, we miss the boys.
We do miss the boys. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Whether we go back as, leading tours and whatnot. It would be interesting to see what that energy is. Once people are back allowed in there.
Does it dissipate because nobody's in there talking about them or talking
charging
to
it
them?
up?
Yeah.
Or do they go, thank God they're not here
And then
let's chill.
when we finally get back in there, it's like a teenage boy for the first time. Boom.
Look, there could be levitation and everything, but if we ever get back in there, it could go either way. So you've got to just, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
We became very, very attached. To
Attachment.
Yeah. And protective.
Fond. We were very fond of them.
And that's what you've got to look for. If you have a site and you have people coming there and they are super protective of the site, because they're invested in the property.
You want people who care about it.
Yeah, you've got the right people.
And there is a grieving process for the people who have developed the bonds with these entities at these locations. And I imagine this is what's happening at Monte Cristo as well, is that having to say goodbye to the entities that are there possibly forever. It's very difficult. I've had to do it with Q Station. That nearly broke me. And then Maitland Jail, I saw the same thing happen to you. It rips a part of you out of your being because you definitely form a bond with them.
And you invest so much time and energy. We are big proponents of letting people make their own decisions about the place. And all we do is present it to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not, we tell stories, but they are stories that we have either experienced ourselves or been told by people who have experienced it that are legit people, ex-inmates, which, we miss seeing because they can sometimes validate stuff that is rumor, or they can, pish posh it. But the amount of energy you put in to make sure that other people have an authentic experience, and then you go, oh, okay, doors are locked. What do you do now?
Yeah.
Or you're locked in the basement with the friend family and the door suddenly locks itself and won't open. That really happened.
Lots of things really happened. Lots of really... Oh, there we go. My whole mowing crew. Feel it. There's something still there.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about all of this is that we are slowly losing our sites. There was even, I don't know, I heard a rumour last year that even Port Arthur was no longer going to be doing paranormal investigations on the site because of some of the things that had been going on. So I don't know whether if any of you have been to the ghost tours or paranormal investigations at Port Arthur, please let us know what is going on there.
Well, I know that they weren't allowing any sort of investigations near the site with the massacre. So they were just doing the historical
ghosts, not...
they'd be mad to close it down because that's very popular.
Yeah, again,
one
of those spots
beliefs
that really needs, and it's kind of really under that banner of living history, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring history back to life just for a moment, so that we can all engage with what was there, what still is there,
and
see you soon.
A lot of what the people had to say is history in Australia, as we are living past it, is not necessarily beautiful and clean.
Oh, no.
And a lot of the places that are associated with history don't necessarily want to publicize that. But you can't pick and choose from history.
Or sweep it under the carpet.
You can't do it.
Most countries don't have a nice history. Probably all of them don't have a nice history. And you can't pretend that it didn't happen. And Newcastle's history is built on it being an open air jail. They sent the worst of the worst here. So it is part of what makes Newcastle Newcastle. It's part of what makes a lot of these buildings the buildings that they are, the people that were there and who they were as characters.
The power that a location has comes from the history.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Like you think of, not even paranormal sites, think of Stonehenge, think of Niagara Falls, think of Auschwitz, think of all these places aren't necessarily supernatural or paranormal. They have meaning because of the historical events that happened there. And you can't sweep that under the rug and just go, oh,
It's just pretty.
It's just a pretty spot.
It's just pretty.
Yeah.
Whether it's great or horrible or, all that kind of stuff, it all is contextual and kind of adds to the story of any location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what as Australians are we going to do with our paranormal sites? Where do we look for more paranormal sites? Where do we go? Who do we approach? How do we get into these sites to make them available to the public?
Who wants to donate so we can buy one?
That is, I guess, the biggest question, because even here, even in Newcastle, there are and around the area, there are still many prime sites that you could go into and use at this stage, but they're either owned by people who don't want to have anything to do with it, or they are not. You can't go in there because of the way the site is at the moment. Whether it's kind of dangerous to be on there. Or there is, like someone said, a blanket thing of no, you're not going to use that, and that's it. And so those sites just sit there. One of them is Maitland Hospital. Maitland Hospital.
Old Maitland Hospital.
Old Maitland Hospital.
Which for a fact, I have spoken to someone who, how much can I say, has worked there since its closure, when there is no one there.
We've heard that.
That's all I'm going to say.
We've heard that from many people.
If half of what I've heard is true, then yeah, wow, is all I'm going to say. We'll talk about it off air.
and bring it round full circle, back to Monte Cristo. It's going to come down to who can afford to buy that house, who can afford to do the repairs that needs to be done, and are they buying it as a ghost hunting investment, or is there any ghost hunters out there who can afford to buy it? Because it's going to be expensive. It's a historic location. It's huge. It's got a ballroom, stables, and all sorts of things.
And a historic location that needs constant care.
Yeah, it's going to have constant rehabilitation, and for the sake of the town of Junee, that they've got their main tourist attraction still there, or is it going to become a private home? And I worry for the people who may buy it as a private home, whether they can keep ghost hunters off the property.
Yeah.
Because there are some who are just not respectful. Hi, Sarah. We read out your post that you put on Ozparatech. Thank you so much. Made a lot of sense.
It does. And I think this is a bigger conversation that we've kind of been having over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, it seems to be where the world is at the moment, in this weird little flux state of private and public, and I guess intention behind the people who own things and ownership. So it's something I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And getting into places that are owned by government bodies it's just, it's terrible, people. It's terrible.
If you want money to make your highways and pay your politicians, maybe let us into some of the sites that sit empty all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see the point. There's no reason, and don't make up reasons. Just don't. But keep your own personal biases out of it, and consider the financial possibilities of putting some money into these sites that need some money. What else have we got to add? I think that's it.
I think that's really it. But what we would like to ask you guys is, do you enjoy this format of having a bit of a roundtable moment about the paranormal? Because it's something that we could look into doing regularly. We have done so already.
Yeah, it's sort of replacing Diary of a Ghost Hunter, so to speak. I just don't have the time to edit that one as well.
And this allows us to have a conversation with the people watching.
Yes,
too.
which I really like. That's the one thing about the podcast, is that I couldn't get people to talk.
It's very insular.
And we're not scared to speak our mind. We would love to have some special guests on.
Also, if you don't agree with us,
you can disagree. We would love to hear a different opinion, because at the moment we know our fans are on here, the people who think like us.
and the way you learn is by encouraging and inviting points of view that aren't the same as yours.
Well, do a cleaner doing night shift and you'll see Paranormal Activity for free.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we just jumped on it. This is the only time we could do it because I know Renata's got another live that you've got to do at 9. I thought it was 7:30.
Busy.
Sorry, I don't know when it is.
You're very late. You're very late if it's 7:30.
There's too much going on. I'm starting to lose it. I am flying out very early Friday morning, heading to Sydney Thursday. So this will probably be my last live. So thank you all so much for coming on, and not last live forever, just till I come back.
You never know. Renata and I might.
Unless
have a
you
little
two
live
become
moment.
more popular and you don't want me anymore.
Yes, Renata and Steve. Doesn't have the same ring.
Steve and Renata.
No, it's got to go. It's got to, like, I'm just a new replacement. I'll get some red glasses. It'll be fine.
Oh, here you go. Pop those on. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready. You know.
That's it.
Oh, it's fuzzy.
I know, it tickles your nose.
Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to take my spirit box. I don't know. We are staying
you could
at
have
one.
a work-free
Yeah, I am
holiday.
going to one haunted location, which I deliberately picked because it was haunted. But it's carrying all the gear, but the spirit box doesn't take up much room, does it? I'm sure Roman and
You're
I can-
allowed to turn off for a little while, you know.
But I'm going to be doing lives anyway, because that's why I got unlimited data, so I can share Finland and Norway with you all.
Dan's frigid bits, she's going to call it. You like that? Do we like that? That's the just little snack-sized bits.
Yeah.
And
Snap
frigid bits.
Snap your tits off. That's what it'll be.
I always come up with the best.
You do. You actually do. You come
Little
up with really good names.
Snappy
Red,
ones.
white, and boo.
Red, white, and boo.
That
Come
was a
on,
great
that's
one.
cute.
Renata, what are you going to be doing for the month I'm gone?
Just crying in a corner.
Oh, maybe we could have a special guest.
My life is just,
Yes, I've already mentioned that.
We could have a special
Yes,
guest. That
yes,
would
I
be
have.
cool.
I have suggested that already, so we're all over it.
Love it. We love it. Sick.
She doesn't know about it yet, but she will. You know who you are.
Yeah, you've just posted.
But we
Yeah.
look for. Yeah, we look.
We'll do some
Renata
lives.
and I'll do
Yeah,
something.
we'll be
if
doing
we can figure out
lives.
how to work the computer and
I've
stuff. we'll do
already
it.
given them all the logins for StreamYard so they can get on here, but they will probably only be doing it to YouTube. So be aware. We need to.
You never know. I can
I'm
work
trying to
StreamYard.
build, I'm trying to build the YouTube channel.
We're only doing it to YouTube, so don't bother.
We want our $2.88 a month, please.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's it.
And wrap it up like fish and chips.
Yep, we've got enough true hauntings recorded now that will last me while I'm away.
There's
So
definitely enough videos.
It's
that
definitely-
will
I'm
continue to be edited.
gonna-
So it's all right.
I just downloaded the whole of Irish Castle, Charleville Castle.
There's years and years of footage.
That's
that we have
An
to get
hour
through.
10 of footage I've got it cut down.
I love it when it's just like your left boob. Going, oh, look, it'll work. No, Renata, don't do that. No, say that again. The things that we get.
Not
to
enough
sit and
energy,
watch.
Renata. Not enough energy. Do
Where
it
are
again.
we again? I don't know. I'll bugger off.
Oh,
Traffic. We should just like
and
put
it's the
all of it
freaking
together.
tractors and lawnmowers that get me. Nearly everything, there's always some bit of machinery going off.
We do need a
plane.
bloopers right at the end.
Just a constant. I reckon we just do a constant blooper reel. 24-hour blooper reel.
Now,
just of
somebody's
all the
noticed
shit.
you cut your hair, Renata. Have you cut all your hair off?
Yes, I did.
She had a Britney moment. She cut it all off. Lucky
God.
she didn't have shavers. It would have all
I hope
gone.
it's not like Britney. That's traumatic.
It's
I think
Oh.
it looks good, actually.
frustration. That's what this was called.
It's called summer and it's too bloody hot, so she
Oh.
cut it all off.
Although it hasn't really been, has it? It's been all over the shop. Global warming.
It's been
Oh,
hot.
we will put our thoughts and prayers and all that good stuff out to
Oh.
the people of LA at the moment.
Oh,
As
my
Australians,
God.
we know exactly what it's like to have horrendous fires.
Yeah.
So we hope that everything can come under control because they have not only people have lost homes, businesses, all that kind of stuff. There is historic stuff that is now
Yes.
gone.
Yep.
So the conversation that we're having is
There's a
very
whole
relevant to them.
library of esoteric and the
Spiritual stuff.
spiritual stuff
Yeah.
that's gone. And
Just
it's
even
like,
historical buildings that you know.
Yeah, there's a couple of museums and things in our area that have now gone up in smoke. They were the last thing that was at risk was the Getty Museum.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just looked at where it was, and it's so close to where Alex and I were living. So,
So our thoughts go out to you guys in LA.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
It reminds me of the
so
Canberra
awful.
fires where it just came through areas you would never think it would
Mm.
come through. So,
Mm.
anyway, that's it. Love yous all. See yous on the dark side.
Stay spooky.
And
Don't be a
dickhead.
But also blow it out your ass.
Thanks, Steve. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for participating. Bye.